Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Thank you for taking time to join us live or virtually as we recognize and pay tribute to those impacted by those horrific events that took place on September 11th, 2001. We appreciate the support from Clovis Unified and all of our Clovis Unified community members, employees, and students. And at this time, if we could take a brief moment of silence. Thank you. Again, as a community, we are stronger together, we are bonded together, and we recognize the impact that we have on one another and the opportunity to recognize those, again, that have been impacted by the 9/11 events as we celebrate and honor those. It is my pleasure now to turn it over to our superintendent, Dr. Emer O'Farrell.
Thank you, Barry. Good morning, everybody. You know, I was watching our president this morning. He was out in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and he was talking about the moment when the people on the airplane decided to storm the cockpit. And I was thinking about how they worked together as a team for the greater good. They made the ultimate sacrifice, didn't they? And I was reflecting on the fact that here we are 19 years later, and you know, we've had a lot of big moments in this year, 2020, starting out with COVID-19 and now with the fires that are right here on our doorstep. And I was thinking, you know, the spirit of 9/11 is still with us. Those people who made that sacrifice, like, their story is still told in how people are living their lives today. I mean, we don't have to look too far. I look at our own team and how we have kept things going in Clovis Unified, and how our students, even under the most challenging of circumstances, our teachers are out there, they're teaching our kids, and we're making it happen. And I think of our firefighters right this moment up there battling those flames and the horrific pictures we've been seeing on the news, and how once again our people are going, you know, heading into dangerous situations to do the right thing, and our community coming together, and our Clovis Unified is playing a part in that too, with opening Clovis North High School as a support for our community on several levels, actually. So I just think that some of these moments in history bring out the best in people, and I couldn't but help think about what a challenging decision that was for the people on the plane. And I'll just tell you one other thing I was thinking about this morning. Since this time last year, I had a chance to visit the 9/11 Memorial in New York, and I spent 3 hours going through the entire, it's an exhibition really, and I remember the one thing that really stuck with me was the vision of this lady who stood at the top of the Twin Towers, and before she jumped, she fixed her skirt. And it was just this moment of human dignity before having to make such a challenging decision. And so just the spirit of humanity, I think, is what's on my mind today as we're navigating a lot of challenges in all of our lives, in our world. And I think that that's something that we all need to hold on to today as we're thinking about fires and still navigating one of the most challenging chapters in our own Clovis Unified history, which is the fact that we have 43,000 kids right now not at school. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to our Deputy Superintendent, Mr. Noel Anderson.
Thank you, Dr. O'Farrell. I was asked to kind of speak a little bit about where we all have stories about where we were on 9/11. And for me, it was about my third week being first year deputy principal at Clovis West with Carlo. And we were all just kind of getting used to the students and used to the community. And like every good deputy principal, I was in my office at 5:30 a.m. trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing in my new role. And about 6:15, 6:30, the secretary walks in and said, "Have you heard?" Hadn't heard anything, and we turned on the radio, and then all of a sudden it was like in every room you could get, everybody wanted TVs. Everybody wanted to watch to see what was happening. And I remember that moment because it seemed so far away. New York seemed so far away. And we were really trying to figure out, wow, that's crazy that's happening in New York, 3,000 miles away. And we were just beginning to process, what does that mean for Clovis West? What's that mean for our staff, for our students in our community? Because we really didn't have a clue. I think everybody was still in shock about, what we're watching on TV, is that really real? And I'll never forget the moment that Dan Bishop's wife Heather walked in, because wow, sorry, it must be the humidity, but walked in and said, her brother was there, and she couldn't get in touch with her brother, and then we were processing through that and trying to help her process through that, and then it was a student whose father was in New York at the site. And nobody could get in touch with him. So what do we do with the students that we're doing? And so it instantly brought it from 3,000 miles away to the office and to our campus. And it didn't take very long because the teachers were wondering, how do we process with our kids? What is age appropriate? Everybody wants to watch the TV. Do we show them what's on TV because of the images, like what Dr. O'Farrell just mentioned? Is that what we want our students to see? You want to protect your students from all of this, and yet it's history that's happening right then in that moment. And I think it just became clear to us that throughout that morning, we couldn't shield it. And how do we communicate, and how do we help students process what they're seeing and what they're going through? And I'll never forget, I believe that was a Tuesday, but by lunchtime, we had parents who were taking their kids out of school because they didn't know what it meant, are our kids safe at school? And we became instantly worried because once we found out sort of the plot and everything was happening, we became instantly concerned for our students of East Indian heritage because they immediately became targets in the media. And so what did that mean for our students? And so that was an instant concern for us, is how do we support those students and what are kids going to say? And so those are the memories that I have. When Dr. O'Farrell's up here talking, I for some reason remembered, and I don't know if Scott's here, but we had an assembly that Friday, an assembly like this outside with all the kids, except we weren't socially distanced. And I remember our senior, Matt Parker, singing Amazing Grace. And I don't know, don't worry, I won't sing. That's Shireen's job. But that was a moment for us as a school and as a community that kind of brought everybody into the same moment of mourning in the same outside venue. And so those are the memories that I have. I also remember what we did last year for 9/11 at the Pelco building, where we took all of our 8th graders at Rayburn Elementary and took them to see the memorial and to be part of that memorial. We were going to do that this year with, I think, Clark 8th graders, because we feel like we still need to educate our students. Realize our seniors this year weren't even born 9/11/2001. They didn't go through this. And so how do we keep these memories and these opportunities to share the experiences alive? And I think that's all of our jobs, and it's our job of our teachers to do that. So with that, I'll pass it over to our American Idol, Shireen Crosby.
Thank you, Norm. Today we'll be singing America the Beautiful, and we passed out the lyrics, so I invite you all to raise your voices and pay tribute with me. So I'm going to need one of these.
Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America,
And if you now will direct your attention to the flagpole as Eric Szymanski from the Clovis High area plays taps. Thank you, everyone who came out today, and for those who joined us via YouTube. Have a good day.